Hello everyone, my name is Celeste Soleil, and not only have I solved who the Master of Masters is, I also know how Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to end. Or at least I have a rough estimate. Quick disclaimer, I am not an expert in Norse mythology, and keep in mind any resemblance to Marvel Cinematic Universe characters is a coincidence. We are talking Norse gods, not superheroes. Also, huge spoiler warning for Kingdom Hearts 3, Remind, Melody of Memory, and Dark Road. If you are not caught up on the story of Kingdom Hearts, turn away now. Also, again, I will be discussing the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, so if you aren't interested in watching any of the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailers because you want to be 100% blind going into Kingdom Hearts 4, 1, I don't blame you, and 2, turn away now and good luck dodging trailer tidbits online. Now, let's start. Nomura has always been a fan of sprinkling hints throughout this series. He purposely leaves breadcrumbs for people to find, and the Norse mythology references are no different. Norse and Greek mythology is something that has always been present in Kingdom Hearts, but recently Nomura has been laying it on rather thick with naming characters after Norse gods and even having scenes play out eerily similar to that of what happens in Norse mythology. So let's talk about it. Starting with Master Odin! I've been contemplating this one for a while now. I came to the realization that the Master of Masters was Odin while doing a crossword puzzle of all things. The question was, who is the god who gave up his eye for wisdom? And though I didn't know the answer, I looked it up. Cheating, that's what I did, I cheated. And I saw it was Odin. And when I tell you that all of Kingdom Hearts' Dark Road flashed before my eyes, whew. I ran to my computer so fast, and that's when the research started. I wanted to make sure my theory made sense before making a video like this. I didn't want to post this theory unless it actually had some backing behind it. Then I came to the conclusion that, well, it didn't really. Between Xehanort's reaction to hearing the Master of Masters' name, Odin's role in Norse mythology, it wasn't coming together the way I had hoped. But then it happened. I read the name, Loki, the shape-shifting god of mischief, and suddenly, it all clicked into place. There was no longer any question, so the research started up full force again. Not only did I find out who I think the Master of Masters is, I also dived far enough into the Norse mythology rabbit hole to find the ending of Kingdom Hearts. That's right, the Master of Masters is Loki. Not MCU Loki, but the Norse god Loki. Though I do think we might see Asgard from the MCU at some point in Kingdom Hearts and see some parallels between Marvel Loki and the Master of Masters Loki. So, since I now think Loki is the Master of Masters, do I not think he is Odin anymore? Of course not. Here's the thing. I think Odin is the Master of Masters, but I don't think the Master of Masters is Odin. Loki is not only the god of mischief, but he is also a shapeshifter after all. A sheep pretending to be a wolf, if you will.
They are but sheep pretending to be wolves.
I think Loki shapeshifted into Odin as a means to help mold Xehanort into the person he will become. After all, aside from parents, who helps kids come into their own the most through their formative years? Helps guide them and show them their strengths and weaknesses? Teachers, mentors, and in this case, masters. He came to Skala at Kylum to personally lead Xehanort in the direction he wanted him to go. In fact, I think he even needed to mold Ericus in the correct direction. In the scene where Xehanort and Ericus are playing chess, Xehanort brings up the Keyblade War like there's a chance Ericus hasn't heard it. He also brings up the Lost Masters and Ericus proceeds to play dumb. Could this mean that it's possible they got some separate teachings from Master Odin? Why would Master Odin tell them these stories at separate times? We also know Odin told them this story because Ericus says,
the Master's favorite story.
Telling them each the same story, but separately, could imply that he was telling them a version of the story to help mold their views. With Ericus, Odin played into Ericus's blue blood lineage by insisting the light can do no wrong. Darkness must be stopped at all costs. However, Xehanort gets the truth, that light and dark should exist in balance, that there is nothing wrong with having darkness in your heart. When you look at Aqua, Ven, and Terra, you can see how strongly Ericus's teachings affected them. They believed fully that darkness needed to be extinguished because that's what they were taught. So how come Ericus and Xehanort have such differing views and opinions when they have the same master themselves? Because Odin was feeding them those different viewpoints. The times we do see Odin in Dark Road, he spends his time feeding us information. There really isn't much in the way to suggest he is more than just a master throughout the game. Except, why did he send Baldr to go find his sister alone? Surely it would have been too dangerous for an underclassman to go on a mission on his own, and to find his missing sister no less. It's easy to get carried away with emotions when it comes to people you care about, and a child will have a hard enough time processing their grief. Also, is Master Odin the only master and adult in this school? Why can't somebody else go look for the lost upperclassmen? Why does it have to be Baldr and these kids? I think this was deliberate on Master Odin's part. He knew what Baldr would end up finding. I also wouldn't be shocked if the upperclassmen were set to fail from the very beginning. They were destined to die, and Baldr was destined to see their deaths, because Odin would have orchestrated it that way. So, he sends off Xehanort, Ericus, and their classmates on their own doomed journey. They weren't going to survive. Odin knew this. They were underclassmen. They were still in training. What could they do? The thing is, though, Odin just needed Xehanort and Ericus to survive. Luckily, he happens to save them, just in the nick of time, too. Interesting how he knew just the right time to jump in and save them, huh? Makes you wonder why he didn't have that same sense of timing with literally anybody else that has fallen in Dark Road. Huh. If that wasn't enough for you, let's talk about Baldr's return to Skala. Odin seems shocked that Baldr is alive, or that he was alive, but he also has a bad feeling about the supposed survival of Baldr. In that same moment, Skala falls under attack. It all seems very scripted, doesn't it? Odin wastes no time. He summons No Name, a Keyblade, by the way, that notably has only been wielded by the Master of Masters, Lushu, Master Xehanort, and Young Xehanort. Huh, I wonder when young Xehanort got his hands on it, because Master Odin just had it. Interesting. Anyway, he summons No Name and disappears. Where does he go? I don't know. He's certainly not where Baldr is, though, because Ericus and Xehanort find Baldr first. In fact, all of this stuff goes down before Odin finds Baldr at all. This guy is a master, yet he doesn't show up until it's literally too late. And yet again, where are the other adults? Where are the other masters? Nowhere to be seen? Interesting. Everyone but Xehanort and Ericus is dead. They are the next targets. Odin has to step in, or Ericus and Xehanort will be the next casualties. And we can't have that. There's no debating this. These kids are no match for Baldr's darkness. Baldr gives Xehanort some lengthy monologue about how good darkness is or something, planting the seed of darkness in Xehanort's brain even more, when Odin finally decides to step in. He chains him up and then lays the responsibility of taking Baldr down onto Xehanort, an underclassman, a kid in training. Odin is the master here. Why doesn't he take care of Baldr? He could have just as easily told Ericus and Xehanort to flee while they can, and so they don't have to see what Odin is about to do to their classmate. But no, he doesn't put the responsibility on Hodor or Ericus, just on Xehanort. It seems like no one actually expected Odin to lay the responsibility on Xehanort. Hodor even has a moment where she seems to be thinking. She comes to the conclusion that she should put down her own brother instead. At least someone is thinking clearly. Why put that burden on Xehanort after all? She's already dead anyway, so if Odin isn't able to, then she is the next best option. Unfortunately, and probably predictably, she gets taken down quite easily. It's up to Xehanort now, so he does it. And thus, Master Odin successfully traumatized his student, creating more darkness in his heart. Of course, he doesn't outright tell Xehanort to kill him, but he doesn't tell him how to save him either. He leaves it up to Xehanort's discretion. Perhaps this was all a test to see if he was ready. I do want to point out, by the way, that this moment in Dark Road plays out similarly to how Baldr's death occurs in Norse mythology, assuming Odin is Loki, who is the Master of Masters. In Baldr's story, Loki is horribly jealous of Baldr. One day, Loki finds the other gods hurling things at Baldr for fun. Loki notices that Hodor is not joining in because he cannot see to throw anything. Loki hands him a mistletoe dart, mistletoe being the only thing that can actually kill Baldr. and Hodur accidentally kills his own brother with it. Of course, Hodur in this instant is not Baldr's brother, but his sister, and she is not the one who was deceived by Loki. Instead, Hodur in this instance is Xehanort, deceived by Loki. Anyway, let's move on from this story for now, but keep Baldr's story in mind, however, because it will come back. Let's move on to Xehanort's Mark of Mastery exam. During his exam, he has a run-in with the Master of Masters. At this point, there is no further need to be Master Odin. The only other role Odin must play in Xehanort's life is to officially name him Master. But from here on in, the seed has been sown. Xehanort is going to choose to go down the path of darkness. So it's time to prepare him for that. Give him a coat, give him some words of advice, give him the no-name Keyblade. It's also unclear if Xehanort actually knows the identity of Master of Masters as Odin at this point in time. We know that the Master of Masters gave him a name, but I couldn't tell you if he said he was Odin or Loki or gave him some other name. I'm inclined to believe he introduced himself as Loki, since I'm sure Xehanort would have been full of questions otherwise. We also don't know if the Master of Masters as Loki gave Xehanort his no name, or if the Master of Masters as Odin gave Xehanort his no name. I feel like it depends on whether Xehanort is actually a master or not by the time he time travels into the future. If he is a master, then sure, maybe the Master of Masters gave it to him as Odin. If not, then as Loki. After this, we aren't really sure what the Master of Masters is doing during this time between talking to young Xehanort and present-day Kingdom Hearts time. I guess he's just chilling in Quadratum? Who knows? Speaking of present-day Quadratum, let's talk about Baldr's story again, shall we? I never did finish how that story goes. Let's see. Loki tricks Hodur into killing Baldr. We know this. His wife, Nanna, dies of grief and is thrown into the funeral pyre alongside him. Frigg sends her entreaty, Hermod the messenger god, to go to the underworld to find Hel, to ask how to save Baldr. Hel tells Hermod that the only way to save Baldr is if everyone alive and dead mourn Baldr. Everyone does so, except for the god Tok, who is Loki in disguise. Baldr cannot come back until Ragnarok is over, where he will rule alongside his brother Hodur in the New World. Wait, that's not how things went in Dark Road. Hold on, let me reread my script. Something is wrong here, wait. Oh, wait, that's right. It doesn't happen in Dark Road. This is the plot to Kingdom Hearts 4 that I accidentally stole from Nomura's desk. Don't mind me. Full disclosure for a minute, I don't actually know how Kingdom Hearts 4 is going to end or how things will play out, but based on the information that is laid out before us with Remind, Melody of Memory, and the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer, it looks like we might be seeing the end of Baldr's story play out through Kingdom Hearts 4. Let me read you the story again. After the death of Sora, Nanna dies of grief. This could be Kairi going to sleep for a year, or Riku going to Quadratum, possibly having to die in order to do so. Maybe that's what the giant dark side is. Who knows, maybe there's a heavy price to pay to enter Quadratum, and this is Riku paying that price. So Nanna can be either character or both. Personally, I think both, since both characters actively go to an afterworld to try and find Sora. Yen Sid sends his messengers, Donald and Goofy, to the underworld to make a deal with Hades. Hades says the only way to free Sora from Quadratum is if everyone alive and dead mourn for him. Maleficent, or maybe the Master of Masters himself, but honestly, I have an nagging sense that Maleficent will play a part in Kingdom Hearts 4, so I do hope it's her. Maleficent refuses to mourn. Thus, Sora is stuck in Quadratum until the end of Ragnarok. What is Ragnarok, you ask? Ragnarok is a series of events, including a great battle, foretelling the end of numerous great figures, natural disasters, and the submersion of worlds in water. Once that is over, Sora will be brought back to life and will rule the worlds with his brother Hodur. Hodur, I decided, could be a number of characters. It could be Riku, could be Kairi, maybe it's just all of his friends. I also think it could be the 14th Xehanort. He did say he wanted to see the new world after all. That, and he was the one to kill Baldr, possibly hinting that he is the Hodur of this story. I'm just saying, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a young Xehanort in Quadratum, and if a new trio forms between Sora, Strelitzia, and Xehanort. But that could be a reach. Listen, this is a rough outline of what Kingdom Hearts 4 could look like. In truth, I don't know how close Nomura plans on sticking to the story of Baldr. And I know I marketed this as the end of Kingdom Hearts 4, but I could also see this spanning throughout the entire Lost Masters arc. With that being said, that would make the Lost Masters arc incredibly short, since Sora would have to be stuck in Quadratum for the entire arc. At the end of the day, I'm not really sure how spot on I am, but I will say I am rather confident. If anything, this has inspired me to look more deeply into Norse mythology and see if I can find any more clues. Now that this video is winding down, I want to take a quick trip back to the Master of Masters. If he is Loki, then what does that mean? Well, for one, it could mean that we have seen him throughout this series numerous times through other characters. I would especially side-eye characters with one eye though. He could be anyone. I do think he has a true appearance, but who knows when we'll get that. I would just pay extra attention to every character going forward. Anyone can be the Master of Masters in disguise if he truly is Loki. I should also point out that the mourning that must occur doesn't necessarily have to be actual mourning, at least by Kingdom Hearts standards. Whatever this mourning will be, I'm hoping it will involve past Disney worlds and characters we've seen in those worlds. I feel like this would be a good chance to bring back some of those older worlds, even if it is just for one tiny cutscene showing Donald and Goofy passing the word of Sora's disappearance along and the terms to get him back. I also want to clarify that I don't think Riku or Kairi is going to die despite being the Nana of the Baldr story. Kairi has already died recently, and I would hope Nomura is done with Kairi's damsel arc. As for Riku, he is the deuteragonist, and I don't see him being irrelevant anytime soon. And if he does happen to die, well, he would probably be brought back to life within the same game, let's be honest. Besides, I think them both going into an afterworld out of grief and a longing to see Sora again is enough to make them the Nana without either of them actually dying. But anyway, I digress. If anyone else has any other ideas or if I missed the mark somewhere, please let me know. I'd like to know what other people think. I hope you all enjoyed it, and see you next time!